Andrew joins us from Australia right now. Andrew, you're at Flemington, I understand, or about to be?
Yep, just been at the track this morning. We're all done, so everything's in order for a big day.
Okay, looking forward to chatting about the runners you have there. But firstly, the three runners that the team have presented for the Livermore Classic. You've got Senna and Tomalila, who come out of a run at Pukekohe with Tomalila winning it. Senna's at 23 with bookmakers, Tomalila at 23. Out of those two, how do they present and what do you see of their chances?
I think obviously Saint Emilion's the one much better off-suited back to weight for age, and his style of racing should suit as well. He can jump, roll up on the speed, and 2,000 metres suits on an improving track. So, yeah, I think I'm surprised they're probably even in the market, to be fair. I think Tomalila's got to step up to weight for age and run over a middle distance for effectively the first time. So, yeah, she's probably the one with a lot of questions to answer.
Just seeing Tomalila, she was very strong at Pukekohe. That must have given you a lot of encouragement.
Yeah, she's in great form. It was a very good win. She did get a gun run that day and presented well, and she was weighted to win that race. But yeah, when Mares are in racing in such good form like she is, it's certainly worth having a crack at races like this.
What are you expecting to see from Lizzie Lamore today? What did you make of her middle day run? What do you expect to see?
A little bit disappointing. Obviously, we would have expected her to do a little bit more, but she was sort of first up coming off a bit of a short run. She will have improved a lot off the back of that race, but she'll need to step up. But she has drawn nicely. She should be able to put herself right there, and yeah, any get on the track is certainly what she's probably looking for. And if she does get conditions to suit on the day, we know she's certainly good enough to win.
Look, you're a great tactician, and the stable as a general rule err on the side of being positive with runners. What sort of shape will this race take, and how influential will Senna and Lizzie Lamore be to shaping that race in your mind?
I think Saint Emilion is always influential. He's a sort of the pace in the race often. I guess with Big Mike in there, that might change things a little bit. But Saint Emilion, as he's sort of raced more higher level, he has become a bit more adaptable. I think he can take a sit. He doesn't have to lead all the time now. He was sort of even second or third, just rolling along on a steady pace would suit also. So I think Lizzie will be there. She'll be thereabouts. You'd like to think she'll be fourth or fifth on the rail doing no work, and I think they'll be strung out, probably coming to the turn. There'll be a bit of pressure on, and that'll suit her. That'll open the field up and give her a crack. You know, she's a natural staying sort of mare anyway. So just second up is the query. You know, would it be nice if she'd had one more run leading into it?
Of the three, they're all at big prices. We're not really used to seeing that, but would you suggest one way or the other amongst the three? Is there a runner that you'd lean towards?
Look, Lizzie on her day can beat any field in New Zealand. Saint Emilion, I think, probably the one that the race is going to suit. I think at weight for age, at things is sort of his go. And, you know, if the track does improve and become firmish, I think that's probably going to suit him better than the other two.
Okay, now one of the glamour horses on the program is Love Affair. You pulled her out of last week to set her for the red badge and a fresh date. So this 1,400 metre race is a race that we're expecting to see great things from her. What are you expecting?
Yeah, I guess the same. We're happy with it and where she's at. We sort of avoided last week with the big weight. She's much better off at the weight this week. And yeah, just I guess from the barrier 7, if she can just slot in one off somewhere, and they should run it at a genuine sort of tempo, then like to see her get every chance to wind up and hit the line. But you're really happy with her heading into the race, and if she runs up to her best form, I think she's the horse to beat.
I know Matthew Cameron will have his instructions. We're just seeing Love Affair and a trial that took place on the 13th of September, where she was a pretty nice and hard-held fourth. We assume that she's come on from that. But tactically, what are you thinking with a horse like Tiako Shark, who has an excellent turn of foot in his own right, and some sort of horses that have been there and done that could be in front of you? Where would you like to see her in an ideal world position during the running, Love Affair?
Yeah, an ideal world, I guess, should be sort of 5th or 6th, one off the fence on strong speed. That would be perfect. Whether that pans out or not, well, that's just in the lap of the gods now, and up to the jockeys and how it all happens when they jump out of the gate. So, yeah, that would be the ideal spot for her. You shouldn't want to be too far off. Hastings is not a track you want to give them too big a start, but especially in this quality of race. But, yeah, that would want her ideally.
We've seen some breathtaking runs from her, and we've just seen the closing stages of her put away Volpe Veloce at Te Rapa. How close to that level will she present today at Hastings?
Oh, she's pretty well near it, I think. She's on her day she's very good. She's a very exciting horse, and hopefully she produces something like that today.
I think we're going to have some camps that are split there with Te Ako Shark and Love Affair, and also other people that will be going outside of them, but it's a mouth-watering race, the Red Badge Sprint. Race number 5 is the Sacred Falls Hawke's Bay Guineas, and again, a strong hand held by the team. We've got Melt at the moment as the $2.50 favourite, Sort of Osmond 5, and you've got Madison County. The shortest price runner of your group of horses, Andrew, would it be fair to say that Madison County's clearly the best chance that you have?
Whether he's the best chance in this race, I'm not so sure. I guess the problem with him is he'll go back from that wide draw. He'll be ridden conservatively, and we'll be looking for him to hit the line late. And that's, like I sort of said before, it's not easy to get too far back at Hastings in good fields and think you're just going to round them up. So that'll be his task. He is a very good horse, and he has improved a lot. He's in very good form, I think, at the moment, and he's a horse that's spot on, ready to run a big race.
How happy were you when you look back at that Ruakaka run? I mean, Melt obviously got all the headlines for her display where she charged clear on the rail, but his run having to cover ground more or less against the pattern, how much did that please you?
Yeah, we're very happy with his run. Obviously, to come wide on that day in particular wasn't easy, and he hit the line very solidly. And you're right, Melt did get all favours up on the rail and got a good run through, but she's clearly a very good horse and going to be hard to beat wherever she goes, and there's a few other handy ones in it too.
Where do we put Chigi Express amongst Cardadale and Thomas Aquinas? Chigi's come out.
He's out, yeah, he's out. Wide draw, we just thought he's best to wait. He doesn't need to run.
Okay, Cardadale and Thomas Aquinas, how about those two? How do they present?
Yeah, I really like both of them, but I think in a perfect world they'd be running at a mile already. I think the 1400 sort of stick it up in their preparation. Just anything might be a bit sharp. Are really nice horses if they get any in the run. I mean, they'll be right in the finish, I'm sure.
Okay, let's park Hastings for the moment. I know there are a couple of other very good horses that you have there, and we might touch on them at the end, but look, Winx rightly is the long odds on favourite in the Turnbull. There are various judges that saying that they expect her to win, 95 out of 100 of these if they were run, or even more. She's dominant, she's brilliant, but you have John Snow there, and we know how honest and genuine he is. How happy are you with him, given you've now cast your eye over him?
Really happy. He looks tremendous. He's certainly a very fit horse. Now he's proved a lot with those first couple of runs. I think the 3-week break between runs is going to suit him, just going into this still a little bit on the fresh side, if anything, and I'm very happy with where he's at. So really looking forward to today.
You can see him at Flemington. He's sticking on gamely on the rail in his previous start. How close to fever pitch is he, given his target?
Sorry, just missed that question, Jess.
How close to fever pitch is he? He mustn't be too far away from being sort of bang on. I know this isn't his ultimate target, the Turnbull, but he must be pretty close.
Yeah, I think he is pretty close. Look, he will improve with the run, but we wouldn't be going into it saying that he was a run short. I think he's pretty well ready to go. I think the 2,000 metres suits at this stage of his preparation, and the big track also. Big roomy track. He seems to love Flemington, and they haven't had rain here for a while, which would have been nice, but not much we can do about that. But no, he should be running a very good race today.
How about your filly Peaceful, who lines up in the second race? She was pretty good and very strong when winning at Whanganui before going over there. What's she done between then and now, given that it's, you know, the best part of a month?
Yeah, she had a minor setback at the end last week. She was meant to race, obviously, in the Guineas Prelude last Saturday. She got over that very quickly, so she seems bright. She looks in pretty good order. I guess it's just a matter of how our form stacks up over here. We really don't know how she'll measure up, to be honest. So she gets her chance. I don't think it's a race that looks overly strong on paper. I think they've kept her pretty safe in the markets over here, so that's a positive. And she's really well, so now it's up to her really just to step up and prove that she's good enough to be here.
Zakata and Ribera, what can you tell us about those horses for their respective events?
Zakata's still on the way up. He still looks like he's got improvement in him. Just looking at him yesterday, but he has tightened up a lot off the back of last start. I mean, 2,000 metres at Caulfield was never going to be his go. 2,500 at Flemington is more his go. If he's ever going to step up, he probably needs to show something today. The barrier draw, not ideal. I mean, he's sort of a horse needs to get involved in the race, and I think from out there it's not going to make it easy for him. But yeah, a lot of time to work into it, and hopefully he can show something today. Ribera, she's sort of on an oats path, so again, second up at the mile. We're not too fussed. I mean, as long as she's going a good solid race, if she was sort of midfield and hitting the line, looking like she's ready for further, then that's exactly what we want to see.
Okay, Andrew, thanks very much for your thoughts on your Australian runners. Also, the big team at Hastings, and I know there are some other really good chances there, the likes of Rhinestone Cowboy, Mongolian Marshal, Hinarangi. Out of those three, can you give us any quick leads before we let you go?
Really like Mongolian Marshal. I think up to the mile's perfect, drawn well, should be hard to beat. Hinarangi's working up nicely, just hopefully she gets a good run just off the pace somewhere. A little bit of an awkward draw. Rhinestone Cowboy, I think he's a good, great each way odds. He's a really promising horse. Looking, you know, he's a stayer in the making, so 1,400 may be a bit sharp today, but he's one to follow.
Outstanding. All the best today. Appreciate your time and all the information also that you provide. Andrew Forsman there.